Hi, I am Alexander and today we'll take a look at SHIO, a budget yet very capable portable DAC amp from Truthear. This unit was kindly provided by Shenzhen Audio in exchange for my honest review. As always, I'm not paid to say anything in particular about the product, and all thoughts and opinions in today's episode are my own. SHIO is a new and the only one, as far as I know, portable DAC amp from Truthear. It's based on dual CS43198 chips from Cirrus Logic. It has both 3.5mm single-ended and 4.4mm balanced output, supports PCM decoding up to 768 kHz at 32 bits, has DSD256 decoding and 2 gain modes. SHIO comes in a small carton box with a Wi-Fi on the front, which frankly I'm not a big fan of, and a list of technical specifications on the back. In the box we have SHIO DAC amp, USB-C to USB-C cable, postcard, warranty card and user manual. As I already mentioned, this device is based on two CS43198 chips from Cirrus Logic and the maximum sampling rate is 768 kHz at 32 bits. It does have two outputs, one single-ended, one balanced. With the output we have two gain modes, so for single-ended in low gain mode we're getting 1.4 VRMS and 2 VRMS for high gain mode. With the balanced 4.4mm output we have 2 VRMS at low gain and 4 VRMS at high gain. Interestingly, the output power that's listed by manufacturer is 150 mW at 32 ohms and 55 mW at 300 ohms, and the signal-to-noise ratio is 130 dB. Now let's talk about design and build. The body of the DAC is made from anodized metal, which is then wrapped in pleather. The length of the dongle is 55mm, width is 22mm and the height is 11mm. The metal casing gives SHIO both sturdiness and the ability to shield the device from external electromagnetic interference, while the pleather finish saves you from buying a separate cover or case. There is an embossed Truthear naming on one side of the dongle as well. Besides branding, there's also a small LED that changes color depending on the file type and gain mode, and two volume control buttons which also act as a gain mode selector if pressed simultaneously. On one edge of the DAC there's a 3.5mm and 4.4mm headphone outputs, and on the opposite edge there's a USB-C socket. SHIO comes with detachable multi-core 98mm long USB-C to USB-C OTG cable. The cable is sturdy and it has a nylon mesh covering which increases its durability. Now let's talk about pairing, controls and my user experience. I was mainly using this DAC with my Samsung Galaxy S10 running Android 12 and USB Audio Player Pro, and in addition I also tested this DAC with my PC. Upon the initial connection I have discovered a strange bug. When I was connecting the headphones to the dongle first and then dongle to the phone, it wasn't getting recognized. So I had to disconnect the headphones and reconnect the dongle once again. I then went to the official Truthear website and downloaded the latest firmware. In addition, I also installed the hardware volume control update. Surprisingly, after these manipulations, the problem with device detection was solved. In addition, with the hardware volume control update, I am now having a 60-step hardware volume controls. But be careful with the hardware volume update, because if you don't like it, I'm afraid there's no way back. During the playback, the LED indicator changes color depending on the file format and gain modes. Volume buttons are also tactile and easy to navigate. I have also noticed that when you disconnect the headphones from SHIO, it doesn't pause or stop playing music, which means it doesn't send the connection status to the smartphone, and this is a bit disappointing. The device also doesn't have an idle mode, but the good thing is that the device stays cool during operation. SHIO is quite power efficient and at the same time it's quite powerful device too. The high gain mode provides up to 4 VRMS and offers up to 150 mW of power at 32 ohms and 55 mW at 300 ohms. While it's not the most powerful dongle out there, in its class the performance is impressive. When I was using it with my IEMs, I was using it in low gain mode exclusively, and I was around 50% volume with a lot of headroom. With full-size headphones that have a balanced connection option, SHIO has driven most of them in high gain mode to my comfort levels of volume. On the other hand, SHIO was lacking a bit in power, driving demanding full-size headphones that didn't have a balanced option connection. SHIO offers a natural, clean and resolving sound signature. It's very musical, but lacks a bit of refinement and details. This is especially true for up mids and treble. In my case, the best combo was SHIO with neutral and neutral bright headphones and IEMs. Pairing it with warm-sounding or dark headphones was making the overall sound presentation a little bit too dull and overly warm for my personal preference. Again, the differences are subtle, but still audible, especially if you have several DACs at hand and you can A/B test them. At the same time, I didn't notice any audible noise with IEMs even in high gain mode, and this is exactly what you should be expecting for a quality DAC amp. I have compared SHIO to Moondrop Dawn Balanced, FiiO KA3 E1DA 9038S 3rd generation, and MoonRiver2. All 4 those dongles are sitting on my list of 16 best portable DAC amps that you can get in the beginning of 2023. And if you missed this episode, I will leave the link in the description of this video. Compared to Dawn, I need to say that Dawn is more refined and detailed. So Dawn wins sound-wise for me, but it's got only balanced output, no onboard volume controls and non-detachable cable, which means that usability-wise SHIO is the winner. Compared to FiiO KA3, they might seem similar, but KA3 is based on a single DAC chip while SHIO has 2. Sound-wise, KA3 is more analytical and sometimes a bit harsh, while SHIO is more musical and I prefer it sound-wise. In addition, SHIO also wins usability-wise, as KA3 has no onboard volume controls and it's getting slightly warm during operation. Compared to E1DA 9038S 3rd generation, I honestly prefer E1DA. It's more refined and has a reference-grade clarity. In addition, it has much more output power. SHIO, on the other hand, has onboard volume controls and 2 headphone outputs. And lastly, I compared SHIO to MoonRiver2. This comparison is not fair, because MoonRiver2 costs twice as much, but they both use the same dual CS43198 DAC configuration, and I was really curious in comparing them. In my opinion, sound-wise, MoonRiver2 is superior in each and every way. It's more refined, clear, detailed and resolving. Both devices have onboard volume controls, but SHIO clearly wins in this section as MoonRiver2 has quite clunky volume controls. In addition, I think most people will prefer the SHIO's form factor over MoonRiver2. Let's summarize. In my opinion, Truthear did a good job for their first DAC. They put many features in this device and at the same time they kept the price well below $100. Pros: dual CS43198 DACs, enough power to drive a lot of IEMs and full-size headphones, 60 steps hardware volume control with physical buttons, musical and laid-back sound signature, 3.5mm and 4.4mm headphone outputs, and the DAC is power efficient. Cons: not the best details and resolution in this price bracket, the sound can be too warm for some people, DAC doesn't have stop or pause feature when you disconnect the headphones, and there is no accompanying application. While it's not the leading DAC in this price bracket, it's a very solid performer. I can easily recommend it to anyone who wants to use their smartphone as the centerpiece of their portable setup and loves musical and well-rounded sound signatures. Alright guys, that's all from me for today and I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to receive new video updates. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.